like, okay, couple of things. Starting over, hoping we don't lose James yet again, because the location he's at doesn't have the best internet access. Before we get into comments of last week and the beeping of doom, we're instituting a new rule here, because the #1 complaint last week was, we're just too damn long. So we're going to have fun with that. Which you said you wanted to address some of these comments. I don't know if you wanted to either, James. Like any in particular?
Let's see. We have the first and last one. You three should get laid really fast. I hate Max too, but you need to take care of yourself. You're portraying yourself as a 40-year-old version.
Yeah, apparently I'm Steve Pirelli, or whatever the hell his name is from The Office. I can't remember his name.
Well, I want you all to know that I got a girlfriend yesterday, and now all of a sudden I'm interested in Macintosh. No. That's not how it works.
Ah, yes. If there's a chick in your life, you worship at the altar of the Steve. Honey, your computer's not white and shiny. I just can't do it. Oh.
There is no connect right there. It really doesn't matter.
But this is like the running gag with fanboys. They run back to the, well, you must hate Mac because you're not getting laid enough. You know, if anybody's getting laid enough and has proved it to the world, it's not Steve Jobs. It's Bill Gates. Because Bill Gates not only is one of the richest men in the world, but he doesn't give a shit anymore. His end-all-life mission at this point is to spend all the money. That's his end-all mission. Spend all the money. It's like he doesn't even care anymore. So, meanwhile,
I have studies that show that people are more likely to date you if you have an iPhone. I read that, I think, on Gizmodo.
Yeah, I do wonder on, it's like, so, I guess that's their logic behind it. Of course, if you look at the sources for that, it's like the dating sites that spy on everyone, so I'm not sure on that. But of course, there's...
The iPhone, I think, is, it's, as far, if I was going to date someone and I wasn't a Linux person based on the phone, it definitely wouldn't be, it wouldn't be,
Well, we should do that, actually. This is a pointless survey we're pointing out here. Anybody, any girls watching, and any guys,
it still looks nice.
Yeah, ask your girlfriends, are you more dateable if you own a Mac? It's like, it is the first thing they look at. Are you a fat ass? Are you bald? Are you geeky? Are you confident? Are they attracted to you? Do they skip all of these things and go to, well, he just didn't have an iMac on his desk, so he's not really dateable. It's like
that kind of built into the whole stereotype that women are only interested in money, though, because the idea behind that is just that you have enough money to waste.
Well, no, that's what I was going to get into, because this is a problem of not just modern society, but human society in general, going back hundreds, if not thousands of years, in which your class or hierarchy of how much value you have as a person is not determined by who you help, what you do, what you contribute to society, but by how much you can afford to waste. Is literally the determinant of class. And that logic's never made any sense to me. I could be a trillionaire, and I would only buy the house on the hill if I had 10 kids and more on the way. Because then I'd have enough of a family to justify all the space. Other than that, I don't need the house on the hill.
What would you do with the money?
Fix things that otherwise don't get fixed that irk me. I'd be very philanthropical, but I wouldn't necessarily be a philanthropist. It's like, I think this should work this way, so I'd go start a company and do it that way. It would be my philosophy.
We're spending too long on this.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, so much for being short. It's like, okay.
Let's go on.
You like donate to fix Pulse Audio.
Yeah, or better yet, go just hire a whole team and say, your guys' mission in 6 months, get this fixed. It's like, yeah, things like that. So what do we want to start with on moving on from the comments of Doom? What do we want to start with on the, I guess Mac is the theme of the week, or it came from Steve. What's of interest? What first?
Yeah, let's hear Leo's spiel.
Oh yes, Leo, you have to exaggerate. You have to continue your theory, your wonderful theory from last week, because it actually is Lion.
Yeah, I thought we addressed that in the last episode, though. But just
well, for those who missed it, explain why OS 10 being Lion is just.
all right. Revelations 13 is the one that describes the beast that is commonly referred to as the Antichrist. It's the one of 666 fame. In verse 1, it describes the beast as having 7 heads, 10 horns, and 10 crowns. Now, you get the dual 10s because it is referring to macOS 10 and version 10.7. So that's exactly why the numbers are described there. And in verse 2, it starts describing more so that you can firmly tie this into macOS 10. It describes the beast as having the feet of a bear, which is interesting because the macOS 10 beta was called Kodiak. It is described as appearing like unto a leopard, which is the number that they use twice for versions 0.5 and 0.6. And it has the mouth of a lion, which at the time that I was formulating this thing was the only big cat that they hadn't used that they described there. The only animal, nonetheless. And it even goes on furthermore because it starts talking about how the beast has people saying who can make war with the beast. That's obviously describing fanboys. It talks about how the beast was wounded and then healed. If you follow the 1990s history of Apple, you got that covered. The key description of the beast is how you have to have the mark of the beast in order to buy or sell things. And if you look at the iOS App Store, you can't buy or sell unless it's had Apple's blessing. So.
Oh, and what's the thing, like the mark doesn't go in hand Y, but goes in hand X?
I just figured that was a joke. It's described as your mark being either in the forehead or your right hand. And I figure that's because if you hold it in your left hand, then you hit that antenna and kill the thing. So you either have to hold it in your right hand or levitate it with your mind.
Okay, so the only piece missing at this point is some Apple device that you strap around your head and like wear on your forehead. That's pretty much all that's missing at this point, right?
I guess.
It's like, oh,
when you run the number 666,
it's coming.
well, that's
going to be like Steve's last will and testament. I command the eyepiece. It's like, Whatever. Anyways, moving on. We're getting like into dangerous ground here. I can have a sense of humor about this because of where I stand on theology in general, and as you obviously have a sense of humor. I'm sure we're going to get angry hate letters for doing this 2 weeks in a row.
Maybe that's why we got some of the rude comments we got.
Yeah, except nobody commented on that directly. It's like everybody just kind of found it funny and got that it was a joke. Anyways, so we're now getting into the meat of the subject, so to speak. What do we want to get into first?
Mac App Store. Let's just go start from there.
Oh, the desktop app store.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's just like now that it seems like every major desktop now has an App Store, or now will be coming with it.
Yeah, because what is it? There's a rumored one for Windows 8, whatever the heck it's going to be. Microsoft hasn't officially announced anything, but I'll buy that.
Linux has something like that for years.
Yeah, Linux is. Well, see, here's the fundamental difference between the Linux one and the what I'm afraid the Apple and Microsoft one will become.
All right.
And that is the Linux one. It's still open source. There's nothing that says you can't jack into it if you want to. And there's absolutely nothing, because of the open source nature of the Linux OS, to prevent you from installing outside the repo. It's just not going to be supported directly by your distro because they can't